Hello and welcome to On the Table. I'm your host, Mohana Priya. With the all-new RTM ASEAN block, we are broadcasting on RTM Click and MyTV's Berita RTM channel, which is also live streaming on YouTube. On tonight's episode, in the next 30 minutes, we'll be discussing the rise of Malaysia as a premier health tourism destination in this region. We welcome to the studio Dr. Muhammad Ali Abu Bakar, Chief Executive Officer of Malaysia Healthcare Travel Council, or MHTC. Doctor, good to have you with us.
Nice to meet you, Mohana. Thank you for inviting me for the show.
Doctor, perhaps we'd like to start with what MHTC is.
Okay. MHTC actually stands for Malaysian Healthcare Travel Council. It's actually a company limited by guarantee. It's under Ministry of Health Malaysia.
Okay.
So the company actually is managed by two chairmen. One of them is Datuk Seri Yang Berhormat Datuk Seri Zulkifli, who's a Minister of Health, and second co-chaired by Wabi Rafizi. Okay.
Now, Doctor, in your recent interview with Bernama, you mentioned that the revenue generated from medical or health tourism in this country is over 2.25 billion ringgit as of 2023. Now, this amount exceeded not only the initial target, but it also aligns with the healthcare travel industry blueprint 2021 to 2025, and the target was 2 billion ringgit. So it's actually gone past it.
Yes, you're right.
Right? So what are the key factors that have contributed to this growth?
Okay, just to add on the numbers, the 2.25 billion actually exceeds 35% of what we did in 2019, pre-pandemic. So compared to 2022, the numbers were close to around 75%.
Yeah.
So it's a very significant jump.
Yes.
So one of the reasons why Malaysia is able to attract these kind of numbers of health tourists coming from all over the world, the reason being because of the formation of Malaysian Healthcare Travel Council, the fact the company have been decided to be designed as the company working together with all the service providers in Malaysia to bring forth health tourists to Malaysia. Right? So what we have done, so we work very closely with our partners. MSCC on its own wouldn't be able to do it with our partners. So all the services are provided by the hospitals, private hospitals in Malaysia. So we have all the hospitals working together with us, identifying the target markets that we want to go, right? And see whether what kind of product and services which these consumers like, right? And we have certain programs that we particularly specialize in. For example, we are very good in a program in an expo called Malaysian Health Expo. So in this expo, what we do, we work together with the hospitals, private hospitals, bring them over to this expo, meet the consumers, and share with them the services that we have in Malaysia in terms of healthcare. At the same time, during that expo, we also sell the products.
Right. Now, Doctor, I'm looking at MHTC's data on healthcare travelers, the numbers, right? Now, Malaysia was already on a fantastic trajectory until COVID hit. So then there's a dip because I think 2020, 2021, there was a dip and the numbers picked up again quite fast in 2023. So what would you attribute that really fast growth to?
Actually, even though COVID happened, right?
Yeah.
During this time, there are still people who want to come to Malaysia for healthcare. The reason being because quite a number of them have been a patient here. They have to continue, and some new ones come. So one thing good in Malaysia, the government helps us a lot. So we work very closely with the government and also with the private healthcare service providers to ensure that during these COVID times, there are certain COVID passports where people actually come and we facilitate that.
I see. So that carried on?
That carried on. Because we can't completely stop. The reason being because as a patient, patient has a demand, has a need. So this patient needs treatment. So they come to Malaysia. So what happened after COVID? So what happened after COVID is this pent-up demand. These patients who have not been able to come, those who are supposed, some of them are, most of them are elective. These are cases can be sort of not to be done immediately. It will take some time. So these patients came. by flocks. So by the time all the governments allow the patient to travel, a lot of them came about.
Okay,
and
so there was a surge.
There's a surge actually because of the pent-up demand.
Right.
And the pent-up demand continues from 2022. If you realize 2022, later part of 2022, first half of 2020, first quarter of 2023, a lot of them, all the COVID restriction was removed.
Yes.
So a lot of them came about.
Right, right. Now, Doctor, can you provide an overview of the major private healthcare facilities and hospitals in Malaysia that actually cater to these medical tourists?
Okay, thank you very much. As I said, whatever success we have is because of the hard work and because of the amazing private healthcare that we have in Malaysia.
Right.
Ranging from the doctors, the facilities, the services they provide, the high quality of infrastructure they have. And one thing with Malaysia, the medical outcomes, which is fairly consistent across all the regions in Malaysia. Right? So Malaysian hospitality, we smile, so a lot of people come. So in terms of private healthcare facilities in Malaysia, there's more than 200 of them. But not all of them are actually part of MACC members. Out of them, there's 90. So the way MACC works is we invite hospitals or facilities which we see there's a very high, firstly, they must have a comprehensive amount of services that can cater for health tourists.
Right.
Number two, they must be internationally accredited. Number three, they must have a certain number of, certain percentage of health travel revenue. So based on these, we categorize them.
Okay.
22 of the members are elite. Elite means these are the premier hospitals, which we actually showcase to the world as the hospitals that you can come.
What qualifies a hospital to be an elite?
So elite actually, it's a very thorough process. It's not only done by MACC. We work together with the government arm. We work with Association of Private Hospital Malaysia.
Right.
We work with Malaysian Medical Council, Medical Dental Council. So we work with also CCAPs to identify a few things. Number one, they must be a hospital who are licensed.
Okay.
They don't have any compliant issues.
Right.
They must be internationally accredited. Means that they are international accreditation, for example, like JCI or even local, Malaysian Society of Quality in Health, have reviewed their processes, have reviewed the infra, and say they are very good.
Okay. So what makes these hospitals so attractive in Malaysia compared to hospitals, say, in Singapore or Thailand? What is it that draws the medical tourists here?
I think a lot of people don't realize that the quality of care in Malaysia is amazing. I'm a doctor, right? So I'm still a doctor. I'm still practice once in a while. So you see, in doctors in Malaysia, for us to earn the status of able to practice in Malaysia, we go through a lot of training.
Yeah.
Right? A doctor in Malaysia to become a specialist takes anything between 18 to 22 years, right? So we are very highly trained, and a lot of people didn't know that in this region, our doctors are some of the best in the world, in the region, even the world, and the centers per se, right?
Okay.
And this attracts people. And we are able to do surgeries which a lot of people in other countries have not done. And this is what we are showcasing. That's why people like to come here. We are very good in cardiology.
Right. I was going to ask you, which areas of medicine are we?
We are very good in cardiology, from normal, they call it PCI, I mean the stenting, stenting, coronary artery bypass surgery. We do some of the latest treatments in cardiology in Malaysia. Some of the best doctors and centers are here. We are very good in oncology. Because we have clinical research in Malaysia, we are able to introduce drugs very early in the game.
Right.
So we get access to very innovative drugs and the protocols, how to utilize these drugs. We are doing a lot in orthopedics. Some of the orthopedic here, we are doing robotic, using robotic devices for orthopedic, for knee, for spine, and so on.
Okay.
Right? We are very good in surgery. We are very good in gastro.
Does that mean in some areas of medicine we are leading?
We are leading. Sorry, I need to add also IVF. Okay. For fertility treatment, we are one of the best in the world. We are some of the best centers are here.
Oh,
some of the doctors are pioneers in a lot of things that they're doing, which a lot of people are copying. So very good in this here. So
those are the unique selling points.
Yes.
Now, aside from these areas, so are there certain levels that the tourists come for? I mean, medical tourists, you did mention that some of them are here for elective treatments. What about the really serious cases? Are those numbers significant as well?
Yes.
urgent care?
Urgent care, actually, a lot of them choose Malaysia to be a repatriation center.
Okay.
For example, you have expatriates. So there are a lot of expatriates who are working in China, for example, Indonesia and Cambodia.
Okay.
If you look at the numbers, because we detect the numbers by the passport holders, right? So sometimes when we deep dive, we realize that a lot of them who are coming, for example, for United Kingdom, they actually expatriates from Cambodia, right?
I see.
So they are coming
and
for
they
this.
They
travel to Malaysia
for treatment.
So because Malaysia's a name in terms of the provider of superior, excellent healthcare is very well known in this region. So people come here. Okay. So when it comes to urgent cases, quite a number of them are repatriated back to Malaysia.
Okay. Now, what are the average costs that we can look at, which patients undergo here compared to other areas in the region?
I'm not sure the hospital is going to be very happy about it, but if I can be very honest, our prices are very reasonable, right? Even though people talk about medical inflation per se, but if you have to compare Malaysian pricing, for example, to Thailand, we are around 18% to around 30% cheaper on most of the procedures.
Even compared to Thailand?
Even compared to Thailand.
Even with the recent price hikes everywhere?
Even with the price hike happened, but then again, if you look at overall, right, if you look for most of the procedures, the price is, I think, maybe some of the procedures were 12%, but on the average around 18 to 20%, 18 to 30% actually.
Okay.
But when it comes to Singapore, when it comes to Singapore, we are very, very cheap.
Okay.
Right?
So there's no comparison.
There's no comparison in Singapore. Okay. In fact, a lot of them are coming over from Singapore here for treatment.
So, doctor, can you share some demographic data, maybe some rough demographic data on patients who come over to Malaysia for medical tourism? Age groups, maybe nationalities, medical needs? Okay. What are the highest medical needs that they're coming here for?
Okay. Maybe I start off with the demographics.
Sure.
A vast number of patients who come here, a large number of them who come here, in the region of between 50 to 60 years old.
Okay.
They make around 30% of the cases.
Okay.
Right? And the rest is a very, very narrow normal distribution. So the peaks are actually very wide. Okay. Right?
So 50 to 60 is the peak? 50 to
60 is the peak. The rest around 5%, 2%, 3% across ages. And a lot of the patients, around 64%, come from Indonesia.
Okay.
Right? Second leading country is China. But China, we are seeing, especially for this half of the year, for the first quarter of the year, we have a three times increase in terms of infertility treatment cases coming to Malaysia.
Okay.
Right? Then subsequently, we have quite a large, not many, but significant number as well coming from India, coming from Singapore. And recently, we are having a lot from Timor-Leste, right? A lot of them from Timor-Leste, they're coming here for treatment. They realize that Malaysia have this kind of very superior kind of healthcare. So a lot of them come here as a first choice, right? And we're also seeing quite a number coming from Bangladesh as well. So Bangladesh is our market as well, our focus market as well. Right?
Okay, on that note, hold that thought, Doctor. We'll be right back in a short while.
Okay.
Now, we will be coming back to you in just a short while after these messages. Stay with us.
Okay.
The number of malicious and false statements spread by SMS or social media platforms have become too widespread. The public is advised to be careful and not fall for such ploys and sharing or forwarding such messages. Remember that spreading fake news is an offense under Section 233 of the Communications and Multimedia Act 1998. This carries a penalty of a fine not exceeding 50,000 ringgit or up to 1 year imprisonment or both upon conviction.
Now we are back with Dr. Ali from the Malaysia Healthcare Tourism Council. Now, Doctor, can you share, you were sharing some insights on the demographic profiles of medical tourists who are visiting Malaysia. Now, speaking about the hospitals which are catering to these tourists, I'd like to ask you about something. 2 Malaysian hospitals were recognized in Newsweek and Statista's World Best Hospitals in 2024. Namely, this would be Sunway and Gleneagles. Now, why are recognitions like this important or significant? How is it important and significant for Malaysia?
It's very important for us. It's very important for Malaysia. And we are very proud of Sunway and Gleneagles to be able to achieve this, right? So what you have now is a platform where in the world, so we have an independent body actually looking at all the hospitals across the world in the region to identify how good are they compared to each other. So with this, they identify these 2 hospitals have the range of services and able to deliver this kind of quality that's required in terms of patient care, medical excellence, in terms of service excellence, in terms of the way they brand themselves. And compared to everybody else, they are very good. Right?
And correct me if I'm wrong, is this the first time that Malaysia has been on this list? And why is that we've not been on this list before? What has made the change? What has made us move up?
I think to be able to be on the list is not something we have not tried before. I think they have. I think we have been on the list. Now what we're able to do is they're moving up the rank within the list, right? So for example, at Sunway actually have developed to be a very comprehensive kind of delivery, and the patient care is at the center of it. So a lot of hospitals like Sunway, Gleneagles, the IHH group, Pantai Bangsa, Pantai Hospital Group, the Kumpulan Perubatan Johor, KPJ Group, the Damansara Special Hospital 2, then Subanjaya Medical Center. Now actually they are bought by Columbia Asia. So these hospitals continuously improve themselves. And we have a very high number of hospitals up north, island hospitals,
in Penang.
At Penang Adventist, right? And we have Loguan Lai, right? We have these hospitals, they continuously improve themselves. Why? Because if you want to cater for health tourists, it cannot be a status quo all the time. You need to continuously improve. You need to be able to deliver the kind of services that people want, leading edge services. For example, people really looking for minimally invasive surgeries. Means that you don't do major open surgeries anymore. It's minimally invasive. People are looking for surgeries which involve robotics. People want a better outcome. People want to get out of the bed faster, right? So, and they want to have a service delivery which is fantastic. They want people, they want to be taken care of. They want to go to a hospital which doesn't feel like a hospital. If you go to most of the hospitals in Malaysia, you don't feel in the hospital. You find food, you find people mingling. You can even do your pedicure, manicure. You can do your hair.
Looks more like a hotel, I think.
Okay, you can say like a hotel, but this kind of thing, people like it. So these hospitals, and we are very proud of them.
Of course, it reduces patient anxiety
as
well.
They work very hard across these elements. For example, medical excellence. They continuously improve themselves by identifying area where they want to become the best of the best. Service excellence. And rightly now, we are very proud, MSCC significantly proud of them. They are trying their way out to have some form of branding outside of Malaysia, international brandings, by participating in this kind of evaluations, which I think is very important to bring us up to the level where people will say, "Wow, you're good."
Doctor, what are the challenges, though, that these hospitals face, or what are the challenges that MHTC faces in line with improving yourself and wanting to go higher and further and striving for excellence?
Correct. I think from MSCC point of view, when we look at these challenges, personally, feeling it, we feel that one of the things that we should do much better is messaging, putting up these messages in a manner that people understand that we have the best kind of a healthcare here, right? We are not trying to say we are the best. Everybody else is not very good. What we are trying to say is, if you want to find a healthcare service across all disciplines, which actually will deliver you an outcome which is amazing, which is centered around your care, come to Malaysia. So how to deliver these messages that people understand, the common people, the lay people, will understand and feel that this is what they want.
Right.
So I think that's one of the challenges we have.
Okay.
And number two, actually, you must understand MHCC by itself, we don't have product, we don't have services.
Correct.
Who do we work with?
Yeah.
We work with the hospitals.
Yes.
And not only hospitals, we work together, there's an entire ecosystem behind it. We work together with the travel agents. We work together with the hotels. We work together with the immigration. We work together with the airport guys,
Yes.
right, MHB guys.
Yeah.
So all these, we have to work together and establish a partnership. Right?
How does the government play a role here? How does the government help support MHTC?
Government actually supports very well. They make it easy for us. They help us out. They give us some grants for us to run this show.
Okay.
At the same time, for example, immigration. We have an understanding working together with Jabatan Immigration with the support from Ministry of Health
Okay.
to make sure that the people who come from all over people come for healthcare in Malaysia. So we have a service where we have a team picking them up right when they come out from the door of the airplane, all the way through the immigration fast lane, right? All the way to where they want to go.
Right.
So all this wouldn't be possible if we didn't get government support.
Right.
And number two, we need to work together with Ministry of Tourism.
Yes.
Right? So at the governmental level, it's very important. And we need to work together with the state. Each state have their own strategy how to help tourism. Recently, we have this amazing support from Selangor.
Okay.
So Selangor Tourism worked together with us and appointed us to make sure that to actually bring all the hospital under their state.
Okay.
And the Menteri Besar, Datuk Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Amiruddin, came together with us to Surabaya.
Okay.
So we were there with Selangor, and Selangor showcasing their cultural elements, come here, come there. At the same time, all the hospital in Selangor.
Okay.
So people in Surabaya may not know Selangor.
That's
they may
right.
know Suruhanjaya Medical Center. But in this context, they will know Selangor, they will know Suruhanjaya, they will know Petaling Jaya. At the same time, they will know their hospitals pushing this. So we would like to work together with each state to do this.
Right.
That's how we want to, those are not really challenges, but that's a kind of support that we want from the government to make sure that this is able to be done more and more.
Okay. Now, recently the government announced a 30-day visa-free entry for tourists from China and India. How do you think those numbers, the influx of the tourists from these two countries is going to affect the numbers of the medical tourists for this year?
I think the way I look at it is a challenge from the government. The government's telling us, and now we are opening up this visa.
Okay.
So see whether this visa correlates very well with the number of tourists. So if you look at the allowing this visa, and after that, you can see the number of tourists from these two countries increase exponentially.
Correct.
But the challenge to MHCC is they are coming here for holiday. Or do they want to come here for treatment? So
perhaps they get a sneak peek of what the country is like, right?
So this is like a challenge for us. So we are working very closely. In fact, we are going to China soon, right? Certain areas in China, to actually work together with the hospital, do some form of expo we've been doing very well, and try to attack them.
Doctor, what are the emerging trends or future growth opportunities that you see in medical tourism, especially in Malaysia? And how is this industry preparing to adapt to the changes in the foreseeable future?
Okay. I think one of the things we can see in private hospitals in Malaysia, you can see that all the hospitals are talking about setting up a center of excellence.
Yeah.
And recently from KPJ, they're thinking of developing 10 areas of excellence. If you look at Sunway, they have multiple areas of excellence. And IHH Group, they're working to that. And Sam Devi Medical Center, they're developing along this line. If you go up north, the hospitals up north, Island, Lamwawi, Gleneagles Group, all are doing this as well. So what is center of excellence? It's actually basically developing a center which focus on one particular area. For example, women and child. For example, cardiology. For example, one area within oncology. For example, hemato-oncology, right? So you have the entire program area focusing to make sure that the patient are treated pre, during, and post. Everything is centered across that discipline. So multidisciplinary, super specialized kind of a thing.
Can you give me an example of this?
Okay. One example which is easy for people to understand is heart, cardiovascular.
Yes.
You have IGN, one of the premier centers for heart. So they are the whole hospital based on heart.
Yeah.
But you have also, for example, in Sunway Medical Center, Center of Excellence for Cardiology.
Okay.
Right? You have also an IGN. You also have in Suruhanjaya Medical Center, you have that. Even if you go to Damansara Specialist Hospital, they have that center for heart. So this is an example of Center of Excellence. The other one, if you go to Makota, they work with JCI. They have a Center for Breast Cancer, Center of Excellence for Breast Cancer, which is accredited, right?
Okay.
So for this, when you go to these kind of areas, if you have a condition regarding this, so the entire team specialize in those conditions. So you'll be very much relieved to find out that everything which is supposed to be managed will be managed by a multidisciplinary team. This is one of the things which is coming up in Malaysia.
Right.
Number two, which is I'm very proud to say in Malaysia, we are one of the leading centers for minimally invasive surgery. Some time ago, whenever you want to do surgery, most of the doctors, they actually open a very wide area in your body to remove things. Now we're minimally invasive with just 3 holes. For example, anything to do with the stomach, anything to do with the colon, for example, if you want to remove gallbladder, for example, right? Now even they're able to do for the knee, for example, arthroscopic surgery. And right now, for example, last time, if you want to remove your uterus, ovary and all that, you go through a major process like TAPSO. Right now, you can use minimally invasive surgery to do all those kind of things. It's widely available in Malaysia. Some of the doctors are very, very good. How does it help tourists? They don't have to stay long in the hospital.
That's right.
Yeah, you go for...
Your recovery period is
very
shorter.
fast. You may have to stay 6 to 7 days, but with these surgeries, you stay very short and you recuperate very well, right? And you can do your touristy activities after that.
Yes, and you can travel back. And if there is an element of recovering at home,
so you
can still do that.
You got it right. So these are the things which is emerging. And luckily, our Malaysian doctors, our Malaysian hospitals very quickly embrace it. So we are moving up very fast compared to the peers in the region.
Okay. Dr. Ali, I'd like to end with one final question. Now, the budget is coming up. Do you have a wish list for MHDC? And tell me why.
Okay, I think one of the things we wish, one of the things we've been doing in the last couple of years, we are trying to identify the best health tourism hospital in Malaysia. What we have done is, from 2022, we have shortlisted 4 hospitals. We call it flagship medical tourism hospital.
Okay.
You see, when you go to other countries, you have one name you can associate to one hospital. Each country has one hospital, you can say this is the best, right? In Malaysia, we have many hospitals who are very good. So what we thought was, why don't we actually identify, through a very strict process, very, very thorough process, which hospital is going to be the flagship medical tourism hospital. Right now in Malaysia, there are 4 candidates. Okay. One of them is Samdabi Medical Center. Number 2 actually is Island Hospital from Penang. Number 3 is Mahkota Medical Center. And lastly is actually IGN, Institute Jantung Negara. Okay. So we are going through this process. By next year, through a very thorough process by independent auditor, we can identify who's going to be the best.
And you will need an additional budget for this.
And the additional budget is if you can expand it more. Okay. So we would like to actually make this program a bit more bigger. We want to identify more. We are going to review more of these hospitals and identify more of them to be the best in Malaysia. So at least when you come to Malaysia, you know these are the hospital, right? The flagship hospital.
Dr. Ali, thank you so much for your thoughts, for your insights. We really appreciate you coming into the studio today.
Thank you for being so kind to invite me for this.
Thank you, sir. And that's about all the time we've got for On the Table this evening. We've been talking to Dr. Muhammad Ali Abu Bakar, the CEO of Malaysia Healthcare Travel Council. A repeat of this episode's broadcast can be viewed again at the same time tomorrow and subsequent days on both RTM Click and MyTV's Berita RTM channel, which is also live streaming on YouTube. Till next Thursday, where we delve on another topic of interest, I'm Mohana Priya signing off. Good night.